Hi, I'm Dr. David Dobson. Welcome to Conversations. Today, my guest is Dr. Lisa Watson. Lisa has over 2 decades of research, teaching, and leadership experience in business schools. She is currently the Dean of the Faculty of Business and an Associate Professor of Marketing at Athabasca University. She earned her PhD from Bond University in Australia. We will be discussing the future of business schools. It's a great pleasure to have you on my show, Lisa.
Absolutely great to be here, David. Thank you.
Lisa, what role do business school play in preparing students to become future leaders and scholars?
Well, I believe business schools are actually of huge interest and importance to everyone, whether they become a business leader or a scholar or not. Every single person in this world is affected by business every single day. So even if you don't intend to become a manager later in life, you are going to learn something from a business school about your day-to-day life, about how the businesses you interact with do things, and it will also prepare you to work in government and not-for-profit and charitable organizations, touches every aspect of everyone's lives. So very, very important all around.
I, uh, I have spoken to some of my guests. They started their initial academic life through business school, but very soon they realized business school is not for them. So my question is there some sort of prerequisite that you need to know that the business school is right fit for you?
It could be true that happens. I've found that happens in both directions. So I did not start being interested in business school. Actually, I was originally going to go into psychology,
Okay.
and then became slowly drawn to business school as I worked through my part-time jobs and those types of things. It
Okay.
just kind of led me there. I would think that there's a lot of students that get pushed into business school by their parents
Yeah.
as well. And maybe
Yeah.
that's not the right fit for them, but they're like,
Okay.
oh, everyone needs to be an accountant because it's
Yeah.
going to give them a good paying job.
Yeah.
I think you have to go where life takes you, but in
Yeah.
every single role you take
Yeah.
on, you are
Yeah.
going to be performing some kind of a business role or interacting with businesses.
Okay. Thank you. I want to ask you, like digital advancements, like such as AI, artificial intelligence, have changed the way we access information and process information. And how have digital technology advancements impacted business schools?
It's constantly impacting business schools. I'm fascinated by this question. I was having a conversation with my colleague earlier today,
Yeah.
talking about AI and the impacts it's having on our pedagogy.
Yeah.
And I brought it way back, and I'm dating myself here, but I brought it way back to the days when I was in undergraduate school and professors were writing on blackboards and we
Yeah.
were copying down,
Yeah.
what it was they said.
Yeah.
And we were so busy writing down what someone said, we didn't have
Hmm.
time to think and we didn't have time
Yeah.
to discuss or really
Yeah.
dive into deep issues. So
Yeah.
when something like as simple as PowerPoint came into
Yeah.
play, it
Yeah.
changed the way we taught. It changed the depth at which we were willing to learn or able to learn. And the same thing is happening now, right? So now
Yeah.
think about all the other bits and pieces we will be able to jump over to get into those deeper conversations and really be thinking, at a much higher level. The skill sets that we're going to be building are going to be very different.
Yeah.
So business schools are constantly adapting and
Yeah.
building those into what it
Yeah.
is that we're doing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you probably have noticed during the COVID time how the traditional learning from on campus became everything like online, and how quickly business schools adapted themselves to those changes.
Yes, not only adapted to, but then in some ways are deciding now we're struggling about whether we're going to go back, right? So
Yeah,
what's the right combination of
yeah,
online versus face to face? And of course,
yeah,
Athabasca
yeah,
University is an entirely online
yeah,
institution and has been for years. And so we were less affected by others,
yeah,
but still affected.
yeah,
And yeah, it does make me laugh a little bit as I was talking about the chalkboards.
yeah.
Athabasca used to be a correspondence school that mailed binders to people, right?
Right.
Back in the
Yeah,
day before the
yeah,
internet existed, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
so we went through huge transformation from being, in some ways a major publishing house,
yeah,
right, to
yeah,
being an online service provider.
yeah. Very interesting. So that led me to ask you a next question. Then, what is the future of business schools?
Oh, it's the magic question. Um, yeah, there's so many things happening right now in our whole industry. So in
Yeah.
many ways, um, thinking about where our place is in the
Mm,
world is changing,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
um, so post-secondary, in some ways, I would say we're almost under fire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is the value of a post-secondary education now? Industry and society are saying, hey, maybe a degree isn't everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to be rethinking how we think about education.
Yeah.
Private credentials, right? So like CPA, Western School of Business, taking
Mm,
on teaching students themselves,
okay.
getting Google and LinkedIn credentials,
Yeah.
in many ways
Yeah.
is being seen as just as valuable
Mm-hmm.
as a degree these days, right?
Yeah.
So we have to get on our bikes and really think
Mm,
about what it is, what is the value we provide.
yeah.
And I think the value we provide really as
Yeah.
higher educational institutions for thousands of years, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
has been making people think harder about how we do things.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see, we have more of a responsibility as public
Yeah.
institutions to be dealing with climate change and
Yeah. Yeah.
sustainability, right, reconciliation,
Yeah.
EDI. It's our job to push those initiatives and envelopes and make society a better place.
Yeah.
And there is
Yeah.
a big role for business schools in that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I know Athabasca Business School is AACSB accredited.
We
So my
are.
question is, how important are business schools accreditations?
Yeah, I love this question. Having been at schools that were not AACSB accredited, being at this one, I've always thought there's two pieces to the puzzle with accreditations. The first one is external validation,
Yeah.
right? And show, it's a signal of quality.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, if you're a local university with a catchment area of students that
Yeah.
are going to come to you anyway, it's
Yeah.
actually not that important because they're
Yeah.
going to come to you anyway. And
That's true.
particularly in Canada, we have the
Yeah.
luxury of having pretty good, high
Yeah.
standard, high quality education across the board. It's
Mm-hmm.
really important for international students. It's a
Mm-hmm.
huge signal, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really a differentiator for them when they're choosing between schools. And then, of course, the privileged students that may live in an area with multiple universities or have the luxury to travel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know for us at AU, it was a signal that
Mm-hmm.
online education is
Mm.
just as high quality
Mm.
as bricks and mortar education. So that was a big focus of our former dean
Uh-huh.
for becoming accredited
Yeah.
first and foremost. Then, of course, COVID hit, and I think
Yeah.
people began to understand, right, and live
Yeah.
it for themselves that an online education can be extremely high quality, just
Yeah.
like face-to-face experience.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you some personal question. Lisa, you have worn different hats within academia, from being a
Yes.
research professor to serving as a dean. What is your advice to faculty when taking a leadership role?
Oh my goodness. So many, so many thoughts, so many thoughts. Um, I think if it's
Yeah.
something you want to do, first
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
I am in this role. Nobody does it for the money, first of
Yeah.
all. Right? We do it because we want to make a difference, right, to
Okay.
our
Yeah.
students. And
Yeah.
it's a different way to make a difference, right? We're
Yeah.
trying to improve our institutions. We're trying
Yeah.
to work with colleagues across the country and across the world to make our
Yeah.
whole industry better.
Yeah.
So it's really a different perspective and wearing a different hat, right,
Yeah.
in terms of how you make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
I would say I was always drawn to the committee work, right? And
Okay.
I was,
Yeah.
I was that person. I sat on every committee at the university. Many faculty, as we know, they would hate that,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Just want to, right? I just want to do my research and go about my business, right? I also worked very heavily with students on extracurricular teams.
Okay.
That was something, that really drew me. So my advice to faculty members is do what you're passionate about,
Mm,
right? And really
mm,
find that place where you think you want to make a difference in the
mm.
world, because all of those pieces of the puzzle do make a difference, and there are puzzle pieces, and we all
Yeah.
fit together,
Yeah.
right, to get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you like about your job?
What do I like about my job? Making a difference in the world. Absolutely. So as I came from a bricks and mortar in Saskatchewan
Yeah.
before I came to AU, the
Yeah.
open mission of our university drives me every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to get an education to people that wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise, right? We're reaching rural, remote students. We're
Mm.
reaching single mothers who have to work all day and
Yeah.
can't get to school until 10 at night.
Yeah.
70% of our learners are first in family to get
Mm-hmm.
a university education,
Yeah.
right? So I see my job as social and economic sustainability and economic development, really, right? We're offering
Yeah.
opportunities to people that wouldn't get it otherwise.
Yeah.
Online is a way to do that, right? It's a facilitator for open education,
Mm.
but it's the access, it's the flexibility, it's meeting students where they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Um, that it drives everything I do.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of your personality also. I think part of your job is also meeting people. So I think it's maybe liking people and meeting with them and hanging out with people and being social and extrovert, I guess.
Yeah, well, to an extent, I have several dean colleagues who are significant introverts, actually, so they're definitely out there as well. But I love partnership, right?
Yeah.
I believe that business schools and universities should be partnering rather than
Mm.
competing.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think I'm in a unique situation that because I serve a different kind of student,
Mm.
and because we have a lot of agreements with other universities,
Yeah.
I have a better opportunity than most to really bring
Yeah.
groups together and make a bigger difference
Yeah.
as a team than alone. So it's really, really exciting.
Great. What is next for you, Lisa?
I wish I knew. I'll be super transparent, David. I am not that person that's planned out my career. I
Yeah.
have just stumbled into opportunities as they've come. I've been very grateful for those
Yeah.
opportunities.
Good.
Dean terms are 5 years long, and
Yeah.
then my future is, it's at the whim of others. Do I get a second term? Do I turn my attention to something else? The one thing I know, I have guaranteed that the last 5 years or so of my career, I am going to go back to faculty and I'm going to do my research and devote a little bit of time to some of those things that I don't have time to do right now. But as long as I'm making a difference one student at a time, um, you know, I'm a happy woman.
Great. Thank you for your time, Lisa, and best wishes on the important work you do.
Thank you so much.